There we go. And I'm back. Woohoo! Oh my goodness. What a week. What a week. What a week. And let me tell you, it's great to be back in Philly. We got to change the title of the stream here. We're going to be doing some ASP.NET pull request reviews and career discussion. Fantastic. There we go. Ghost Jeff. There I was. There I went. Whew. Let's pump up the desktop audio again, and I will dial in. Let's put back on music to code by in the background. This is Red from our friend Carl Franklin. There we go. Thank you, Chris, for hosting me. I literally landed and I got home maybe an hour and a half ago. So I was quick, unpack everything, and here we are. So I'm on the blue screen today, so I can get all my Eagles green showing. I am way excited for the Super Bowl this weekend. It's going to be an amazing game. I'm really looking forward to it. But first, I'm having some issues with Docker. Of course, Docker. And getting it started so we can host all of our cool things here, all of our cool widgets. So, I'm gonna switch over. I'm gonna let you see me trying to fix this because it's a pain in the neck. Issues with Docker. I know! So here we are. Let's take a look. And I know I've got a little bit of blue around me here on the bottom. For some reason, my lights aren't quite clearing it all out there. I'm not quite sure. What is it you're seeing there? Oh, you're seeing the edge of my desk there. All right. You typically don't see it because of the placement of my camera and whatnot. All right. So I'm getting an error over here that my virtual machine for my Linux server failed to start. Here's the thing. There's no virtual machine over here. So I'm going to go into reset and tell it restart. Yep, go ahead and restart. And this should pop right over to Docker is running, and then I can run all my little widgets here. Let's see, Bruno's saying, now I need to watch the game. Absolutely. You need to root for my Philadelphia Eagles over there. I don't even have my Mac running over here yet, so I can see what's going on over on Twitch. Oh, my gosh. Lucky I even have the green screen running. Let's see. See, now, right, here's the challenge that I have with Docker. It's just sitting here spinning. There's the VM. Look, it's starting, it's running. Is it actually going to do something, right? So, to explain, Docker runs containers. Containers run on top of some sort of a host. On Windows, it needs to have a Linux host to run on. Well, the easiest way to run a Linux host on Windows 10 is to start a Hyper-V virtual machine, right? This is a way for us to host other machines, other images that aren't necessarily running the same operating system we are. And we can package them up and turn them off when we need them, releasing those resources. So Docker runs on top of Hyper-V and maps those containers into that virtual machine. And what we're seeing here in the Hyper-V manager is, yep, that Linux VM is running. And what we're seeing over here in my Docker settings is, Docker's starting. And I'm kind of like at a dead end here. It's like, bang, look at this. HVSock proxy is not reachable. Now, I've seen this before, and the way that I've resolved this in the past is to just say, run it again. Now I'm going to click the log, and the log opened down here. Let's go take a look and let's see what's in the log here. And I didn't want to spend my time debugging Docker here, but I want to get my widgets running on the browser here. So I'm going to go down to the end. So here we go. Look at all kinds of numbers and things. I'm looking for an error. Connected Ethernet interface. All right, so it opened my logs. Cleaned up stale service. So I don't actually see an error log item here. These are all See, the middle item here is kind of the status, the type of log message, right? This bit right here. So just looking up that column, there it is. Docker HV sock proxy is not reachable. But looking further down, it sure looks like everything restarted properly. So I'm going to do restart and see if we can get that running one more time. Because when it doesn't start, keep pushing and eventually it might start. What happened here? So while that's going, I'm taking a look at my Twitch dashboard. And it looks like Twitch decided to mute the audio for that little bit where I was running the Welcome Back to Philly song. And that feels real good. That was a commercial. I mean, literally a commercial. That feels bad. Let's see, are we getting Docker running? Is it going to run? Are we going to get it this time? So how's everybody doing this week? It is Saturday, February 3rd, 2018. My name is Jeff Fritz, and I got Docker running now. Woohoo! All right. Now I'm going to get my Docker containers running over here. So let me bring up a console and come over into my StreamTools and get those started for us. So this is just a simple command that I have that runs a Docker called StreamTools out of my private registry out here. I have a series of environment variables that I pass into it that include things like my client IDs, so it knows how to connect into Twitch and Mixer. And I'm going to be listening on port 8000. And when I get to see my web browser, my web server, my ASP.NET web server reporting that it started over here, I'm going to be able to launch the widgets that I'm missing up here in the video. And it's taking its good old time getting started here. Let's see. I did have my power settings flipped here. So in the Surface, there's a setting that you can't see down here about battery performance, and I'm going to push it over to best performance because I want to have really good rendering, lots of power that I'm using on the processor and RAM and pushing out and showing to you fine folks out there. Let's see what we've got here. Now I have to watch the game. It feels like it's been a long day already. You had a 6 a.m. hockey game. Ooh, I remember those days. Yeah, that was a lot. And Chris's daughter is watching you now. Hello, it's me. It's your friend .NET Jeff. Good old, have you tried turning it off and on again? And you know what? I think I'm going to do that here. Look, it actually was running, and it just kind of got hung up here. Ugh. All right, I'm going to run a Docker PSA. This will show me if there's other images out here running. And sure enough, there are a couple hanging out here. I'm going to remove them. I can do that with a Docker, I believe it's a Docker prune? No. What was it to shut them down? I thought it was prune, or what was that to clean up all the extra junk out there? I don't see it. Gosh. Was it Docker system prune? Yeah, that's what it was. Yes, get rid of those. All right. Try that again. I should see the web server start and listen. Image, no, image shows me information about the images that are hanging out there. There we go. So that's my ASP.NET server telling me that it's listening. So I'm going to come back over to OBS here. And this is like inside baseball. I'm showing you how this thing works here. So this is where I have the configuration to build, and it's still pointing to ASP.NET Core Workshop, even though I keep changing this. This should be helpme.net and refresh. And we should see this update with the actual bar loaded off of that image, the Docker container over here. There it is. Fantastic. All right, let me get rid of that. And I'm going to do the same thing for my follower count. Yep, and that one loads real fast because now the server's primed. All right, so I've got Docker running now. I can get rid of that. So I can monitor that. I have 4 screens that I use on my main machine while I'm serving this. I know, I'm paranoid, and it's a lot of power. It feels so good, though, to have that much desktop real estate, because everybody loves desktop real estate. All right. Looks like stream quality is pretty good, and we got some folks in the chat room. Now, of course, the Twitch chat room over here on the Twitch console isn't showing me anybody. That feels real good. Thanks, Twitch. All right. We had a bunch of questions. We had a long week. A lot happened. My gosh, I was in Seattle this week. Had a great time running Microsoft's Ready conference. And for those of you who aren't familiar, we have an internal conference we host for all the folks that are out there in the field who need to, and by the field I mean folks who don't work in Redmond. Sales folks, consultants, the evangelists who are out in the local areas, those folks who need to touch base with the product team. I'm the content track leader, content track program manager for all of DevTools. I have a couple of colleagues that work with me on that, Willie Peter Schaub and Clemry Stein, and the 3 of us planned and carried out and delivered. We sponsored and led 50-some sessions over the past week. I've also got 45 sessions I'm planning for all of our MVPs here in the next month. You should see your session manager open up on Monday for that. And I was just assigned to be content manager for all of DevTools for Build. So that'll be coming up. I still haven't even gotten dates for that. Hey, you need to go do this. All right, when is it? We haven't announced it. Okay. So, I don't know. We'll see. You'll know. When I know, you'll know. Or when you know, I'll... Yeah, something like that. All right, I like to work in GitHub. Lots of cool stuff in GitHub. I want to take a peek in the live stream, and I want to do some work on StreamTools because we got a number of pull requests in StreamTools. I saw them in our Discord channel. For those of you that aren't on the Discord server, I don't have the Discord link here. We'll probably all find out about Build at the same time. I think you might be right about that one. I don't have the Discord server link handy here. Gosh, that feels bad. Here, I can't copy the link. That makes me feel even worse. We have a Discord server. If you want to hang out, you want to talk to some of the friends that you meet here on stream, if you want to help collaborate with some of the projects that I'm working on, like StreamTools or configuration builders. Oh, there you go. The bang Discord command. Thank you for reminding me, Chris. The bang Discord command in Twitch will give you that link. I'm going to go, onto my Fritz and Friends server here, pull this one down, invite people, and I am going to get a link here. Yeah. And let's paste that into the Mixer chat room. Mixer.com, /Fritz, because there you go. Nightbot will tell you, what the heck? Mixer.com, /Fritz. That's me. Go. Go, 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 go. Go, go. Whoa! That's going to be really cool. Why won't it let me chat? Where's the stupid chat room? I'd like to chat, please. Why isn't there... Oh, no. Now I've done it. Oh, no! Chris, can you paste the chat? Thank you. because I've angered Mixer now, and if I click another button, my screen's gonna just, yeah, forget it. All right, there you go. That is so trippy. I know. All right, time to work on mod tools. Yes, it's coming. All right. So, infinite loop would be really cool to just have infinite me there. Although my wife would say that's a big problem. All right. So live stream. I don't think we got any more questions, but we're going to talk about this one today. I want to come back. Bruno was asking, hey, do you have some career advice about what to study in order to be a good candidate for interviews as a developer? Methodologies, and any technical directions that you would recommend going. I want to come back to this because I think this is a good soft skills type of discussion. And let's face it, being a good developer isn't just about what you know. A little bit of it is also about who you know. So I want to come back to that. I do have my friend Imo. He was actually on vacation this week, but he is interested in joining us to talk about spans and doing some development with span. So we'll take a look at that. Span is a brand new feature in .NET Core 2.1. We want to put it in .NET Framework 4.7 point something. We've missed the cutoff for it to get into the next version of .NET Framework that's going to be coming out with the next version of Windows here in the spring, because Windows is on those 6-month cycles. And so we probably won't see it in full .NET Framework until summer or the fall. So I've been thinking about wiring up my Stream Deck to have push-button commands. Yes. So I met with Tim Hewer, who's the head of Channel 9 when I was in Redmond this week, and he's got a really cool Elgato Stream Deck that he's got all of his commands wired up to. So real easy to automate some things. I was thinking, you know what? I have a Logitech gamepad that has all those macro keys on it. I could do something similar. So I'm thinking about doing that. So wiring, how about a section on using span? We're going to do something about that. Using it or extending JavaScript services. I want to do this. You saw the ASP.NET 2.1 roadmap post that came out this week. I think there's going to be more for us to talk about. And because I'm now doing content coordination for Build, I'm setting up to do a couple live streams at Build. I'm going to push as hard as I can so that I can set up and live stream from Build, bring in some of the folks that have cool announcements for us there, and write some sample code together here live on stream. Cicero asks, do you use TypeScript? I know enough TypeScript to be dangerous, right? Like, I know how to use it. I don't know some of the more interesting features like async and await, right? That's not something that I'm familiar with yet. All right, so I think there's something we can really do that'll be cool around this. Any of the ones where we're going to get some Microsoft folks involved could be very, very interesting at Build. All right, so that's all I have to talk about there. Another question we have here. Hanselman blog has how to set up Windows 10 to see Kubernetes in your Docker dashboard. Yes, I'm not familiar with Kubernetes yet. I'm not comfortable with it yet. I want to be a little bit more comfortable with stuff that I need to set up and use to manage this stream. And to be perfectly frank, I only run one Docker container to host the widgets on stream, so I don't need full orchestration with Kubernetes. So I like the suggestion, Janascu, but I think that's a little over-engineering or over-allocating for my needs for this stream. But it might be fun to play with and learn a little bit about together. So I'm not opposed to learning it, but I don't think I need it to run the stream. Cicero makes JavaScript tolerable for me. Amen. True story. I forget who it was. Might have been the Azure Portal team. They copied all their JavaScript source code and had it run against the TypeScript compiler, and they found tons of errors that JavaScript was just swallowing, but TypeScript raised because types didn't match up, and they fixed those, and it made the Azure portal a lot better. I think that's the product that did that. All right, I want to talk about StreamTools because I've got 3 pull requests hanging out here. So StreamTools, this is the ASP.NET Core application that I started, and you saw me go through all that dance with Docker so I could get it running to host the widgets at the top of the screen. They're generated from this application. And it's a simple application that knows how to connect to Twitch and to Mixer to extract some data and present it. So let's take a look at some of the pull requests we have here. We have a unit test for configure services from Jay Rosegard, and I think I saw him in the chat rooms there. Fixed save load of BG blend values and tidied up the layout from SQL Mr. Magoo. And Mr. Magoo's been busy. He also added an option to choose a font from Google Fonts this is the configuration for the bar, the gold bar you see up at the top, which, that's pretty freaking cool. I gotta see this one. Let's start with the unit test first, and we'll move from there. So based on previous issue number 20, I've implemented a unit test which should cover registrations of the various stream services together with a small refactoring. Okay, so we've got 5 files that were changed. Let's take a quick look. StreamTools, he removed the reference to the TwitchBot project that I have hanging out there that I wanted to start looking at, and I just haven't gotten to yet, and I never checked in any code, so I'm okay with that removal. Configure services, removed a couple using statements. Let's see, what did we do here? Removed some spaces, it looks like. Configure streaming services and passed in configuration. Okay, but didn't pass in a collection of services. Okay, so let's take a look at what changed there. So configure streaming services. It's a extension method here that's going to, right, so that's how this has been turned around. So instead of it calling and passing in the services and the configuration, it's an extension method, so I can say services dot, right? And extension methods in C# are defined by being private, or by being static, and their first argument has a this keyword in front of it, and that this keyword says extend this type of object and hang this method off of it. So that's pretty cool. All right, so new Twitch service CL. What's the L? Okay. C string is null and empty. All right, so look at this. All right, now we're getting a little bit tricky here in some of our initialization, and I worry when I see this. I start to worry about the verbosity of our code, right? This is a sample that I'm teaching from, and yes, I'm also using. So I worry about using a lambda to configure like this. Now I certainly see what's going on here. C is our configuration, L is what we're returning, right? So we're returning a new Twitch service, and we're also, right, making that configuration. We're checking to see if it's null or empty, and that's conditionally how we're setting that up. And we're doing that with each one of these. That's very cool. I appreciate the cleverness in that. Yeah, see, there it is. It's a func to see if it's disabled. So I very much appreciate that, and you've simplified by then you can remove these methods that are testing to determine what all do I need to do in order to configure. Now you're also, so you're creating the new service, and you're passing it into stream configure service. And stream configure service, I'm guessing, yes, registering that service. So okay. I'm okay. Mr. Pepperoni, welcome. I'm assuming you like pizza. Thanks for joining us here, and I look forward to seeing you in chat. Mr. Pepperoni. Reminds me, I need to get my hands on some gluten-free pizza for the game tomorrow. All right. We removed the configure services test. That's fine. It wasn't doing anything yet. Okay, configure services test. So these are the new tests that you wrote. Theory, member data, name of configurations. All right, so there's our configurations. So, okay, so this is, so hi, yes, pizza is great, mate. Welcome, Mr. Pepperoni. Thank you. All right, so what you have done is you've put some test configurations over here in this configurations property. Now, we started using auto fixture, which, while yes, it does automatically create something and stuff it in, I like what you've done here because you're providing some of the edge scenarios and saying, let's make this type of configuration, and here are all the different ways that I want to test. So in XUnit, if we declare something as a theory, you can pass in different types of data, different items, and it will use those as the various arguments, so you end up with the same unit test being run however many times for what's coming out of this property. Now it's an IEnumerable, so it's actually going to pass that object in 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to run this test 4 times, once for each one of these configurations. That's pretty cool. Saved me from having to write and manage more unit tests because the test scenarios are all defined here. That's pretty cool. One thing that I want to see if somebody here in the chat room, and nobody in the chat room has picked up on it, we'll take a look when I pull this in, because I may want to do a little bit of refactoring on this. You're returning a new object. It might... I wonder what happens if we were to return a value tuple there. Thinking and looking at our C# 7.1 features. So let's take a look at that in a little bit here. So make fake configuration. So this is the configuration that we're returning. So that's pretty cool. Hands Off Loves Pizza in the Mixer chat room says, "Don't I know it?" Okay, so is it 2 of the same person? All right. So let's take a look. I'm going to pull this into our project, but I worry about, like I said, I worry about the verbosity of this. I appreciate what you're trying to do there. You're simplifying the setup so that it becomes easier to add additional services in the future. Let's take a look at how this works. Let's run our unit tests, right? We don't have continuous integration set up yet, and that still feels bad. And my friend Martin Woodward agreed to help me set up continuous integration on this test. We're going to do that. That's going to be coming up here in the next week or two. Yeah, Martin just needs to verify his availability, and we'll make that happen. But for now, Jeff is going to run the unit tests, and I like to do it on the command line. So let's copy that. Come down here. Come on. Come on. Where is it? Why can't I? All right, you're going to be that way, aren't you? I want that. I want my command line. There we go. Dev fritz.stream. There we go. And now, oh, let's run PowerShell so I can see all the cool things. There we go. About what I've got here. I started putting together a little deploy script, and I'm not quite done that yet. I'm going to what did I leave there? Not get duff, get diff. I don't care. Goodbye. All right. So let's copy this and let's take a look at exactly what's going on here and run some unit tests. Fantastic. That's loaded. Update to GitHub extension. I don't need that right now. All right, StreamTools. So we did that security demo on Thursday from Codefellows. What did you think of that structure, chat room? Did that very focused answer and demo of a collection of features on ASP.NET Core, was that helpful? Is that something you might refer to in the future? Let me know. I'm trying to figure out if I want to structure more streams like that. All right, so let me know in the chat room. I'd love to run a poll and get your feedback on that. Let's see, Jen Eskew says you could basically have Viewers Hub, and for the connection from the client is just for that hub, even if you have multiple hubs in the project. Are you talking about SignalR? Ravenduel, good morning. Good to see you. Let me come back to that. I'm gonna run my unit tests here. It's testing there behind me. And Viewers Hub. There was a Viewers Hub over here, wasn't there? We got to come back to that. Yeah. We'll get back to that. Let's get this working. I want to answer the question about career advice, and I'd love to hear the chat room chime in when we get to that, and then we'll look at working on the viewers bits there. Bruno did enjoy the format of the security discussion. Okay, that's cool. Go ahead, run all my tests there, little fella. Eight tests passed. Now the new tests that we have here are... Why isn't my tab working? Thank you. Startup configure services tests. So where are those? Startup, execute, register stream services. There we go. So check this out, right? It looks like almost sub-tests here, right? So if I click through to that, there it is. Cool. I like that you use the arrange, act, and assert headers to kind of show here's the different setup parts of this. And make fake configuration is just setting up that configuration dictionary that we're used to. Ravenduel asks, why does the script tag contain the HTML comment tags? Woo, excuse me. That is, and he's talking about this bit right here inside my Razor view. This is me showing my age. This is me showing that it is mostly unneeded now. Older browsers. Yeah, Chris has a great answer there for it. Yep. And I'm in... What did this branch off of? It came off of master. Okay, master doesn't have some of the fixes pushed up that I'm looking at. All right. So yeah, at this point at this point I consider this type of markup to be almost a style thing, and I like to think of it almost like my signature. It's an age detector for developers. Shut up. All right. What is at CHS? Cheese? Or are you trying to type C# Fritz and oops? Yeah, so some of these, there's a little bit of changes coming in here on some of these Razor pages. I didn't mean to pin that. Go away. So I'm okay with the test here. But I want to look at the, where did it go? I want to look a little bit more at how you did your startup changes. So we moved the configure services content. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know what it feels like, Raven Duel, to have fat finger syndrome when you're trying to code or you're trying to chat real quick with someone. So in ASP.NET Core, right, we have two primary methods in our startup class that we have. We have configure services and we have configure. And configure services defines the contents that we put in our dependency injection container. Well, it was getting so big for us here in this project, we moved everything out into another class that conveniently we called configure services. And we put a single method in there called execute, because that way it's just easier. And there we go. All right, because it's just easier to find it and say go execute this thing. So here's what we're doing inside that execute method now. So here's where gosh, I want to make sure so Jay Rosegard, who is, come on, give me, there we go. Is that Jan? Is that how you pronounce that? How do you? Yeah, my American European translation is terrible. I'm apologizing now, but he's done a little bit of refactoring here to make this a little bit more concise as to what's going on. So he's adding a singleton for the rundown repository. Danish name. Okay. Did I mean the ASP.NET Core Workshop stream goal? That is, so we accomplished that. It hasn't happened yet. I'm confirming my dates with all of my pair programmers today, tomorrow, and hopefully at the end of the week we'll be hosting it. Stay tuned. I will let you folks know. It's coming and it's going to be amazing. So let's go through this. So the rundown repository was a way for us to save data for this rundown feature that I'm not really using just yet. But it was a checklist of things to do during the stream. So there's a follower goal configuration that we need to configure, and that's getting out of this. Okay, that's fine. Configure streaming services and passing in configuration. And this is where things got a little bit tricky. True, and I think a mature project, you might move script to other JS files and bundles. Yes, and we're not there yet. I don't think, right? I think we don't want to over-optimize, and I want to keep things together in the same files because it's a little bit easier to learn for folks that are coming along and are new to this. So that's something else that I want to make sure that we all understand and kind of keep in mind is folks are learning from watching and reading some of this code here. So I see code like this, and while that's really cool, it's for new folks, it's a little bit tricky to read. So I think I'm going to continue to use this, but I want to make it a little bit clearer what's going on. So let's dig into this just a little bit. We're going to add the follower client. So the follower client is a piece that I wrote to centralize all of the SignalR configuration for the followers pieces that we have up at the top here, the followers widgets. Okay, so we can configure and communicate to those in a central place. And then all of our other ASP.NET features we're going to configure at the end here. So the first thing that I want to do, I want to put a little bit of comments on these just to make it a little bit clearer what's going on. So I'm just going to do this. Configure the standard ASP.NET Core services. Just to make it clear what's going on. Yeah, it's, my only criticism, to me and to some of the other developers that are reading here on stream, seeing these callbacks being passed in, cool, I know how to do that. Just a little bit trickier for new folks. So, and just to make it a little bit clearer so that it wraps nicely, I'm just going to put some carriage returns in there. So if is disabled by, and passing in the configuration, return. Sure. Disable this service. Don't configure this service if it is disabled. All right. So services build service provider. Now, so services is our service collection. This is what's being passed in, and it is the dependency injection stuff. Are you sure I'm using the mic in front of you? Sounds like it picked up further away. The laptop mic, maybe. Let's double check. That's fair enough. It is. It's the wrong one. How's that now? Holy crap. Is that better? I'm on this mic now. Right? Hey, there we go. Thank you. Coming to you live. No, I'm not going to do the whole radio guy thing. All right. Cool. Thank you. Once again, a problem because I disassembled everything and moved it. Sin the trash, finally. Yeah, there we go. Encoder feds. All right. I get it. All right. So I want to get a logger here. The purpose of this is I want to be able to log information about the creation of the service. So let's configure and grab a logger to log so that we can log information about the creation of the services. And let's put a carriage return in there. All right, and then service is factory configuration logger factory. Now this is really cool, but oops, and I've got an extra carriage return there. So this is a func. This is a callback that takes in a configuration, takes in an iLogger factory, and is going to return a stream service. So we're going to call that method that was passed in and pass in to that our configuration and the logger factory that we just created. What is the provider variable? Is that the DI container? The provider variable, this right here. Yes. So services build services provider, build service provider. This actually takes everything that's been registered with the dependency injection provider and creates an instance of it for us right now. Now, it's important that we do that here because if we unwind the stack, right, this is being called inside of this execute method that is being called inside of this method that is actually configuring and adding all of the services to the container. When this method, to unwind the stack one more place, right, to go back, this configure services is being called by the framework, and when it's done executing this, it actually, inside the framework, behind the scenes for you, calls this for you. I need to do it here so that I can get an instance of the logger factory so that I have that configured logger factory and I can use that to log information about the connecting to our various streaming services. So build a temporary instance of the DI container. Let's just put that there, make it easy. All right, where did my phone go? I'm keeping tabs on some things here. My there's a little bit of a stomach bug. There's a significant flu. They call it a flu, but it's a stomach bug. Folks have got a viral thing going around. It's hit a lot of the country here. My mother contracted it, and she has a number of other medical conditions. And doctor said, you go to the hospital. So my mother's been in the hospital for the past few days. She's doing fine. She's in the right place for what she needs. She needs to wait and let this virus pass through. Joe Bun just added a pull request. Need to keep you busy. Thanks.
Thanks for keeping me busy. But more so, thank you for contributing. Oh my gosh, I'm flattered that you folks are participating like this. And I actually got talking to some folks and trying to figure out. I need to do emoji for the Twitch chat. I'm an affiliate. I can create an emoji. I need to do that. And I want to make stickers. I want to make stickers available so that some of you folks that have been contributing, I can show my thanks and send something out as a token of my thanks. All right. So this is actually executing the callback method that we defined to be passed into this to actually go and create that service. And then add singletons. So before, this was something that I ran into where you actually need to define and create that service, put it out there so it's always running for us in the background. Oh, thanks, Bruno. I appreciate your kind words. She's going to be fine. We're going to be in good shape here. All right. I'm going to put a comment up here because I want to have that rich IntelliSense pop up for what these things are. So that folks who come along and want to learn from this can actually see and understand a little bit more what's going on here. So, generically, configure stream service interactions. Stream service providers. There we go. And register them with the DI container. Ravenduel says, by the way, the young kids call them emotes, not emojis. All right, I gotta make the emote, right? The emote icon there for Twitch. Emoji tokens okay, yeah. Ravenduel, in an app, UWP or WPF that uses a DI container that registers data repositories, for example, stuff that will be used by view models, how should the DI container be made accessible to the code? I agree, Organic IT. I can't keep track either. Oh, and I was right near you about 8 hours ago. I had a quick 45-minute changeover at LAX. I've never actually been outside of the airport in LA, but I've been to LAX like a half dozen times. And it's always get on the bus, ride it to the other terminal because there's construction and you can't actually walk from terminal to terminal, and run to that next gate. That's my LAX experience. But so the question from Ravenduel is, how should the DI container be made accessible to the code? Well, your DI container should be hosted and hanging somewhere on almost a supervisory class that's doing the instantiation of your various forms that you want the DI container to help inject features with, so that you can actually call the DI container and ask that to create the appropriate object for you, and it'll properly hydrate with everything that you need. Maybe we can take a look at that another time, but there's ways to do that, and like I said, you want to have that almost supervisory class. All right, this is the type of stream service to create. Now, where stream service, so this where statement down here, this is a way for us to constrain the generic type that we see here, right? This inside the angle brackets, that's a definition of a generic type. Means that this can work with several different types of objects, and that type we're actually going to define here, and it's going to help to configure what this factory uses, and it's constrained to be a class. Now, I think we might actually be able to push just a little bit more information onto that, because our stream services over here all inherit from iStreamService. So what we could do is not just say is a class, but is an iStreamService as well. So in this way, this service as iStreamService, I should be able to remove that, but I do want it to register as an iStreamService. And actually, now it won't do that cast if I turn that into the generic method. All right. Types of stream service to create. Okay. So services. So services is the first parameter here. So this is the, right, the DI services configuration object. And then the configuration that we're passing in, right, this is the application configuration to use to populate our service. All right. Factory. So the factory is, this is a method that, a callback method that says how to create your service. So let's, callback method that defines how to instantiate, that's a good word, the service. All right. And is disabled is a callback test to determine whether to disable the service. Cool. I think that makes it a little bit clearer now what this method does. And now let me come up to here. And what I might, you know what I might do here? So, all right, so configuration is that. So this is the factory. So it's just saying new mixer service. And then the is disabled is this test here. So just to make it a little bit clearer, I'm just going to put some labels out here, just so that folks that are following along and want to learn can see how to do this. So test to disable. All right. Now check this out. In Visual Studio, if I hold down the Alt key and drag, I can create a box. That's so cool. And I'm going to put the same thing right out here. And I'll do it way over here for that. Now it makes it just a little bit easier to see what these things do. Cool. Right now the Twitch stream has only the 1080p resolution option. You're right. So Ravenduel, you're pointing, that's a good point. What happens is because I'm an affiliate, I don't have priority on the Twitch resolution and encoding. But as it's available, I do get a little bit of a priority on changing that resolution. Having 480p and 720p options might be a good idea. I completely agree with you, and that's why I became an affiliate, so that I could get that option. I won't be able to become a partner because I do multicast. I do simulcast to Mixer as well. If I was not an affiliate, everything would always be 1080p, and there would never be options. So as the encoders are available, it should make that available to you. All right, so this is a little bit clearer now on what it's doing, and I'm actually a little bit more happy with what that does. Now I've got a blue line here. There's something, right? You see the blue line here? It's telling me that there's a code style issue, and I'm looking for it, and I don't see it. Ah, here it is. Yeah, let's wrap this just, and that should make that go away, right? No, I'm good. All right. Let's see. What else? So I'm going to merge this now. I'm pretty happy with how that's gone. So git status. Yeah, here we go. Git commit am. Added some comments. Cool. Scroll that up. And now I'm going to go copy out the, yes, command line instructions. And let's merge this in. Fantastic. Yes? Good? Good. All right. I'm going to check out my dev branch. And I'm going to merge from master so that it comes down. And I have a conflict in configure services. All right. So let's do that. Git No, you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into StreamTools. That's better. Startup. And I'm going to run code here because I like Visual Studio Code to do this. All right. So here are the changes. Extensions options versus using system. Well, I've already got using system up at the top. So I think I want extensions options. I eat cats? Welcome? I don't eat cats. I love cats. I had 2 cats. But welcome, I appreciate you joining. I go to great lengths to disable collapsed sections. Hate them. I'm so sorry, Joe Bun. For the purposes of demonstration, I really like them because it makes it easier to see and navigate around my code. Okay, so this is the significant refactoring that was going on. And we need to get the tag helper options in here as well, right? See, these are being configured. And they're not in the existing stuff. So I need a little bit of both. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy these. And then I'm going to accept the incoming and paste them in right there. All right. Yeah. And what else do we have down here? All right, so here is configure stream services, and it's got all my updates here. No, I want yeah, I want the incoming on this one. There we go. And then here's, yeah, I want the incoming on this one. And that's it. All right. That was easy. Let's see. Yeah. All right. So now git add and git commit merged from master. Cool. Let's push those. Cool. What branches do I have laying around now? I've got a lot of branches laying around here. I still have Justin Horners. I still have Stakers. Let's clean up some of those. Get rid of that one. There we go. So git branch capital D does a delete of the branch. I don't think I need conditional configure services anymore either. So let's get rid of that one. Yeah. Imagine Git doing this to binaries. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a big problem. There we go. So that merge happened. Good. Thank you for the contribution. This will make it much easier to add more services, more streaming services in the future. And that's really what I like. What I like that you put in there is that as I add YouTube to this or Facebook Live, it's going to be real easy to define those extra services and add them into the mix here. All right. Go back into stream services. Nope, not going to do that one. And then I've got another pull request out here. Centralized hub code. Use bundler to copy signal or client. Yeah. I don't think I have a... I don't have a SQL... Oh my gosh, up here. Look at that. Completely missed it. Thank you. Sequel Mr. Magoo pointing that out. I have a couple extra branches in here that I didn't get rid of. Let's get rid of those as well. And we'll get rid of Chris's. There we go. Make things... okay. And get branch. So now I'm down to just my 4 branches. That feels a little bit better. And then, what is it? The command... There's a command to clean up all the things that you've deleted. And, oh, it's get GC, isn't it? Right? Get GC, isn't that it? Yeah. Count and compress and get rid of all the extra stuff that I trimmed. Alright. So I was actually sitting in, as part of the event I was at this week, I was actually sitting in a session with the folks who do the Windows source code and how they run Windows source code in VSTS. And the repository and the size of the repository. They literally have millions of branches. And they create millions of pull requests each day. It's insane, the size of this thing. And it doesn't use normal VSTS. They have production servers that they offload everything to, and they just use VSTS really to do some of the project management of it. But it's gigantic. Crazy numbers and size, and I think they talked about it somewhere on a blog post in the public, but some of the numbers and configuration things that they do with it are just, they're insane. They really are. It's significant what they go through to make that work. Let's take a look at this one. Fixed save load of BG blend values and tidied up the layout. So the blend values, so here we are from Mr. Magoo. Blend values were not being saved in local storage, and the Firefox box model was messing with the layout. There was a problem in Edge. And Favored Broom 774. Thank you for joining us. And good morning, Steve. It's great to see you joining us here back on the East Coast. I look forward to talking to you, Favored Broom, in the chat room. So, thank you. I think I prefer the look of Edge. Mr. Magoo! What kind of a web developer are you? Don't you know web developers hate Edge and Microsoft browsers in general? I can't back that up. Edge is pretty okay. I don't have any gripes against it, but let's see. Fill bar colors, that looks pretty good. Now, what did you do with the... Oh, so we can't do anything with... Oh, so we don't have a configuration for blend yet. So blend gives us a way, with the gradient feature that was added here, to tell exactly how much do you want it to blend from one color into the next, or do you want a hard stop? At 0, it's a hard stop, and there's no transition. It'll go red, yellow. No graceful transition through orange. So this looks really cool. I like that you embedded images here for, I'm guessing this is all 3 browsers? And is this the Edge one? It looks pretty good. I'd like to use one of these images on the README so that folks can get a little bit more of a picture, an idea of what this thing does. So that looks really cool. Let's start merging this and see what's going on here. Space Shot. Edge needs some catch-up, but there's an attitude that once you support Chrome, you're done. Agreed. That's a real problem. We've been there before. Yeah, it was called IE6. And it was a nice time for stagnation. Look at the comment above. I deleted the SQL Mr. Magoo branch. What did I miss? This has been tested. Oh, there was a problem in Edge with using the iterator on the results of getElementsBy, which I worked around by using array.from. Okay. Yeah, I think, and Mr. Magoo, that kind of feeds into a little bit of what Chris was saying about the browsers have slightly different dialects on the JavaScript around the document object model. Stop it. All right, let's take a look here at this change. All right, feature CSS cleanup. Nice name. Cool. I'm going to leave this around. Nah, let's get rid of that. All right, reload. Here we go. So this was merged into... This is going into dev. And it was just preview goal that was changed. The pictures are Edge, Firefox, Chrome in that order. Oh! Shown below in that order. Thank you. So Edge is the first one. Okay, I see what you're saying about... So let's zoom this a little bit. So the X's and then the color does look kind of nice. And then the second one was Firefox. So Firefox, the buttons, right? It's not all the same size. Where clearly Edge and Chrome make the boxes, all the controls the same height. That looks cool. But Firefox is a little janky. That's pretty cool. All right. Yeah, I might want to grab one of those and use that on the homepage because that is really neat. It's a good demo image. All right, so this updated. Let's see, preview goal CSHTML. So let's go find that. I'm going to control comma and just go find preview goal. Oops, I even said it. Preview goal CSHTML. So here's fill bar colors, and then the remove color, and then here's some of the cool stuff that was added. So there's the get BG blend, which, what is that doing? Here it is. So are we actually putting the BG blend down somewhere? Span BG color. Spans I children 1 value. Get BG blend. That was already there. Okay. Yeah, janky. It's kind of... It's just off. Oh, okay. How much of the color gets blended? All right. All right. That's what I'm... So that's what these numbers are. Cool. All right. It wasn't being saved. Got it. All right. Now I get it. And... yeah, we have no jQuery in this. All right. Let's just see what it looks like real quick. And then we'll commit. Oh, that feels bad. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. All right, so this feels like it's an artifact of my merge there. Services configuration logger factory. Because, right? Let's see if we can jump over to that. It only takes services and configuration because we get logger factory. So we don't need this anymore. And that should just work. Right there, build succeeded. You can't see it behind my fat head. This is an old Eagles hat from like a season or two ago. Configuration. Doom, 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 doom. Thank you, Sudoku. There we go. Look at that. And it's got my red, yellow, green, and my empty font color. So if I change this to something like a purple, okay, and preview, still looks great. And if I change the green, let's make this something weird, something pink, preview, cool. And if I refresh, everything still lines up. Looks good to me. Ship it. So I'm going to need to add that one little fix that I had in there. So let's commit that. Fixed configure services. And then let's grab that command to do the merge. Terrific. Thank you very much. Now, thank you for the... I can't do that very much with everybody. I want to only do that for folks on their first contribution here. Thank you for the contribution. This looks really good now. in all browsers. There we go. Cool. Let's take a look. Add an option to choose a font from Google Fonts. Now, Mr. Magoo, this is going over the top. Thank you marginally. Stop that! Ugh. All right. Choose an option from Google Fonts. Added this to the goal bar, into the preview, and to the docs. Okay, this sounds really cool. Let's take a look-see here. So there's now a font name that's being passed in, and we're going to have a font name in the configuration. So in the chat room, Ravenduel asks, Fritz StreamTools project connects to Twitch, Mixer, APIs, and live updates the values on the widgets that you see here from those. Janescu, open type fonts is cool option to have. Yeah, I think this is really cool. I like the sound of what you've built here, Mr. Magoo. Let's see, font name is coming from... Okay, it's going into our configuration object. Google Font Tag Helper, HTML target element. Oh, look at this. You wrote a tag helper to go with it, too. So, task run, await, output, get child async result. So, you created a target element, Google Font. String is null or white space font name. So, you create an appropriate link with a style sheet that points to fonts Google APIs.com. So, this is the standard format for the Google fonts that you want to use. So on the docs, an optional font name for Google Fonts, from Google Fonts. Cool. You know what? May want to turn this into a hyperlink so that folks who aren't familiar with the Google Fonts can go find them easily. Let's... Oops, don't have that anymore. May want to add a hyperlink to the Google Fonts page so folks can see what we're referencing. I think we can do that pretty quick here in our merge. So there's the configuration option as an environment variable. Cool. Followers goal, Google font config font name. Okay. And you're just outputting that there. That looks really easy to do. And then, oh, look at that. And you're just outputting that font name in the CSS, and you don't have to change anything else. This change looks bigger than it is. No, it looks really nice. Very streamlined and focused there. And Janescu's right. We're using SignalR to show those changes live. Okay, this just looks like a little formatting cleanup here. And then, okay, in the configuration, Google font input type text, font name, and using that. Cool. All right. Let's give this a shot. I'm excited. This looks really neat. I'm impressed by what this one does. So let's take a look. See here. I'll paste in those commands so we can go take a look at this feature. And I'll go back over to Visual Studio. So I'm going to start off. I want to run over to that docs. Right, where did it go? Color configuration, font name. This little bit here, right? Google Fonts is, I forget, is it just Fonts Google? It is. It's just fontsgoogle.com. Oh, seriously, I clicked the pain in my neck. There it is. Cool. Let's just copy and put that in here. So I'm going to do an Alt-Shift-W to automatically surround that. And I'll just put a quick href and target equals underscore blank. So it opens somewhere else. That was easy. So that just, right, just gives a little bit more of a pointer for anybody who isn't familiar with some of these things. I hate to do it, but I like to assume that not everybody knows everything. Okay, so you had a tag helper, Google Font Tag Helper. So you're getting the content is the font name that occurs inside that tag. Okay, I can work with that. And you're just jamming it on the end there. That's easy. I like how simple and straightforward that tag helper is. Just format and put that font name at the end. So let's see how this works. And let's pick a font. Anybody got a font they want me to try using? Stop it. Well, we're going to have to fix that. But let's see. Oh, what is the Overwatch font? Big Noodle titling. That's what it is. Can I do that? Can I have the Overwatch font? Search. Big Noodle. Is it here? No! No, that's kind of lame. Let's find a good one. Anton? No, not Anton. Verdana. Shut up. I want to do something different. Something that looks really cool. Like, here we go. Let's try Pacifico. Right? No, I want the name, please. Thank you. Pacifico. Preview. Hey. Arabesh. Let's try that one. A-U-R-E. No, I don't see Arabesh. We could try, let's try Aurea. A-U, yeah, like that. No, that, I didn't pick that. A-U-R-E-A. Yeah. Do I need to do that? Is it case sensitive? Nope. Comic Sans. Let's try that one. There we go. Everybody loves Comic Sans. Now I'm worried. Because it's not Go Home You're Drunk. It's not picking up that at all now. Something looks too professional for this stream. Tell me about it. Rometto, or see, Roboto looks kind of basic and lame. Oswald, let's try Oswald. I'm wondering, yeah, it's not, it hasn't updated since, right? It's probably case sensitive. I hope not. Let's try it. It is case sensitive. Wingdings. Yeah! No, that one's not working. That's interesting. I want to try this one. Rometto 1. Right? I mean, that should be pretty cool. There we go. You can't use non-Google. Oh, because it was registered Microsoft. We couldn't use it. But it was in the list, right? I mean, it should have picked it up, you know? I want to find a really cool, high-tech looking one. Like Libra barcode. No, that would be bad. Ooh, how about this one? Glory Hallelujah. That looks kind of cool. I'm just going to sit here and play with fonts for the next hour. What do you think? Boring. That's pretty cool. I mean, for for the size that I want to embed in my video. But it doesn't serve them. While you're playing with font, I have an idea for an emote. Can you ask Carl for a .NET Rocks image from the coffee mug to turn it into an emote? You mean that coffee mug? He's actually, I believe that logo is available from them. There we go. Ooh, look at that one. Look at that one. Right there. Play. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, first things first. So we're seeing a couple little things here that we do want to change. The font, we want to make sure we need to put that on another line. And I'm actually tempted to put the font up here. And what might be really nice to do is give you some sort of type ahead with maybe a preview button so that you can go look it up or something. Let me fix the layout here just briefly. Oh, I'm so glad that Sarah helped us build this, and I love that we're getting some contributions here to really make this simple widget something that's configurable and really fun to use. Let's see. Yeah, so we just need. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to move that there like that. Now I feel better about that. So let's do this. I'm gonna move this whole thing like that. So now the font, and then get into the colors as another section there. Clicking them, in fact, gives you an option to view the font in another repository. Okay. I do like that play. Neat. That is really neat. Quick, somebody go tell Sudoku on Twitter that we put fonts into her configuration deal. Let's see. Jeff Blankenberg. All right. You know what? I'll do it right here. Let's refresh that. And let's take a screenshot. Snip. No. Snip. There it is. New. I'm so happy with how this has come along. It looks really cool. Save, because I need to save it somewhere. No. Right, Twitter. There we go. And stuff. New tweet. Yeah. Add a photo. Wow, that's a lot of me. Put it up here somewhere. There it is. So happy with contributions from our friends during the live stream with help from Sudoku. We now have a cool configuration page with fonts on, and then I'll put the GitHub link, right? github.com, fritz.streamtools. There we go. Okay. So we move that around just a little bit, and I could see doing a little bit more to make that more interactive, but I'm okay with it for right now. So I'm going to merge this in. All right. Great feature, Mr. Magoo. That's really cool. Yeah. I mean, it's simple because you added, you followed along with where all the other configuration things were. You added the documentation properly. You put even a tag helper together to make it easier to drop the font on the page. Ah, so cool. Fixed layout. Let's just say that. There we go. And let's merge this one over here. There we go. It was fun to learn. Yes, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Simple, easy steps. Right, there we go. Merged. Thank you for this cool contribution. All right. There we go. Okay. And one more pull request. Yeah, this is where did not find any need for the single R tag helper anymore, but left it there. Fixed the problem of numbers being out of sync. Ooh. So there's a little bit of a problem here, and you can see it on video right now. If you take a look up at the top, the follower goal is 637 in the middle, and the number of followers up there is 635. It's slightly off. So let's look at what changed here. So git ignore is it now ignoring SignalR client JS. The CS proj is bringing in the bundler minifier, and the bundler minifier allows us to grab, bundle, and put together various pieces that we need to run to run JavaScript or CSS in our project. Oh gosh, there's a couple comments in here. Fun to learn. Mr. Magoo says, I recommend pitching in to anyone on the stream, even if only for the live code review. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Magoo, for that little testimonial. I'm more than happy to take any contribution that you folks want to pitch out there. I may reject it. We may comment it. We may discuss it and say, you know what, this doesn't work. We may discuss it and say, you know what, this is a really cool idea. But I will absolutely give you feedback on any code you want to write to try and help out here. And I want to make these pieces of these applications easy to understand, and that was what we went through there a little bit with Jay Rosegard and his changes that he made. They were very complex changes that he put in place. Makes it easier to maintain, but it might be a little bit harder for somebody to learn from. And I want to make sure that everybody can learn from it, and we can. And this is why I keep saying it. We can pair program together, and we can all learn from each other, and build something cool. This has my name on it, but it very much is contributions from all you fine folks that are helping out, and you flatter me by contributing, and I thank you for that very, very much. All right, so the count, it looks like a spacing change, big deal. But now you're just referencing SignalR client there. I see that, and you're using the bundler minifier to deliver that. I'm assuming bundle config JSON. Here it is. Where is it? Root SignalR client JSON is what it's writing out, but you're reading in from the SignalR client that's being delivered in the node modules. We don't need to minify it because it already is minified. Cool. So that was removed. That's fine. StreamHub.js. Oh, look at this. You started to centralize the activation of the Stream Hub. Now we're getting a little bit tricky with our JavaScript. I like it. So what's going on here? Let me pull in the code. I like where you're going, because it's starting to simplify some things, and I think we need to learn from this. And it's not overly complex what you're doing here. So let's bring this in. to fix and clean up some of our SignalR a little bit. So let's stop this. So the tag helper is still out there, and we wrote a tag helper to identify and bring in and reference the JavaScript that the SignalR client needs in order to listen in the browser, okay? So what we've done, you don't really need this because ASP.NET Core comes with something called the bundler minifier. Yes, I want the Windows line ending. We've identified extensions that might be helpful. Really? Which ones? Yes, I'd like the bundler minifier. I understand the risk. It's not third party. It's Microsoft. It's Mads Christensen. Yes, please. I'll take 2. All right. I must restart Visual Studio for the extensions to be loaded. Okay. Just this once. Just this once. I tried to do it using tag helpers, but seemed wrong. Yeah, so you're right, Joban. It is a little bit wrong. I was using it as an excuse to show tag helpers. So, how come I have chat messages on my stream that don't show up in Twitch chat? Well, Mr. Pepperoni, it's kind of like this. My employer really wanted me to broadcast to Mixer also. Really. I can't say really enough times. And some important people there said, hey, we'd really like it if you'd broadcast to Mixer. And I was up for my 6-month review. So I said, okay, no problem. So I broadcast to Mixer also, and the embedded chat room that you see there, it has Twitch logos in front of people that are chatting from Twitch. Some folks have better connection to Mixer, so they choose to connect to Mixer, and you see the Mixer X logo in front of their names. You're welcome to choose either one, and of course the video will be archived on YouTube a little bit later. Yeah, whichever one, your Xbox or PlayStation, you want to watch from, or your phone, go for it. So, there we go. All right. So this is the build config JSON file, and I like to think of it as a little bit simpler way to interact with bundling and minifying your project files than Webpack, because Webpack, I don't have a PhD to understand yet. It's really confusing, and they iterate on the configuration styles and the capabilities of it so quickly that for how infrequently I use it, I have to relearn how to use the configuration every time I look at it. So it's become very difficult for me to grok and use. We are very much not ready for Webpack. Agreed, Joe Bun. So all that this is doing is it's going to output some simple site files for my CSS, for my JavaScript, and we're going to roll up all of our SignalR client, which is really coming in from our node modules. And we're going to grab this specific version. Now, I don't remember... Oh, and this logo down here is there to show you that this is a bundler file. So you kind of get the syntax. Oh, I'll catch you later, Ravendul. I wonder, can you put a star on this? So, if we go down here and we right-click on bundle config, I believe we can actually run it. There it is. Bundler minifier, update bundles. And it'll actually run the bundle and run this configuration, and it will write out into my lib SignalR. There's my, well, it didn't output SignalR-client. Is it over here? Nope. Woo! Excuse me. Do we have anything in the error list? What's going on here? Output. JS folder. Oh, you wrote it into the JS folder. There they are. Aha! All right, now StreamHub.js. This is a new file that you added. That's fine. All right, so this is our new class to connect and centralize our SignalR configuration. Let me come back to that in just a second. So, I like what you're doing with SignalR client. There it is, and it's full of ugly, jumbled JavaScript. Site.js right now is nothing. That's okay. But for the purposes of... go away. For the purposes of keeping this somewhere where I know that I shouldn't be modifying it, I'd like to actually put it over here in the SignalR lib folder. Right, because it's something that's being delivered that I shouldn't touch. Right? So I'm just going to change your bundle config to go place it over there, and I'm going to remove this one. Yep, go away. Cool. So, let's see. Bundle config. So it's outputting to www.root.js. So I'm just going to change this to lib SignalR so that it's over here. Now look, I just saved that file and it already ran it and put it over there. Right, that's a Visual Studio 2017 thing. It's got this integration, it sees the change to this, and it goes and reruns everything. Really cool, right? I really love that interaction, that it knows you want that change, run it now. I would have liked to have seen some content delivered over here into one of our panels on the output so I could see what actually happened. Now, I skipped over. Let's come back to StreamHub. So what we've done is, what Joban has done, and this is really clever. He's written an ECMAScript 2016 class, right? JavaScript now has classes, not just functions. So it feels and looks a little bit more like TypeScript. I had a good conversation with Anders this week. Thrilled that I got a chance to speak with him. Anders Heilsberg is the fellow who invented Delphi, Turbo Pascal, C#, and TypeScript. So he knows a thing or two about writing languages. And JavaScript is starting to pick up some more of the TypeScript features that his team has built and include them, including classes. So this class, it has a constructor and it has these properties on it that it's initializing. And we have a start method on our StreamHub, and it does all those things to connect up that I was doing in each one of my pages. So if I'm following along with this properly, and I look at, I don't want to look at current viewers yet. Views, where is it? There it is. So here's my follower count. Go away. So now followers, I need to change this from JS SignalR client to lib SignalR. There we go. So this will bring in the SignalR client, and then it'll bring in my StreamHub. And now, all that we're doing, right? Look at this simple refactoring. This page doesn't need to think about how to configure SignalR. It says, go create your SignalR connection to the StreamHub, and then it hooks up to this on followers, right? So it's creating a method here on the StreamHub that says on followers, receive account value, document get element by ID, text count equals count. Anders is from Denmark. Yes. Go Denmark. Sure. So let's see. So where is on followers being raised? Okay. So if this on followers, so this is the callback that you need to wire up. All right. So on followers, and then here's how we're going to update appropriately, and then start the connection. That's pretty cool. Let's look it over here on the goal one. And I need to change that one just slightly. There we go. And Stream Hub, and then on followers, here's what it's going to do when it hears followers. Get element by class name current, and it sets that current value, sets up that formatting. We do a little bit of logging, just so we know what's going on there. That's pretty cool. Now, I forget where we left off on viewers. Because viewers is kind of... we're kind of in between here. Oh, good. All right. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to... I think I want to deprecate this one. We've already got it somewhere else, so I'm just going to delete it. All right. So our viewers, our current viewers, I made a Razor page, right? Single page that just has all of our HTML and formatting in it. And we'll just fix this. But very cool how that's built now. And now we have a reducer that'll actually do that sum for us so we can get a total value coming out. And on viewers, so as the viewer count is updated, we're going to go get that service, right? Whatever that service is that we're going to update the viewer count on. And we are going to update it appropriately. We update it appropriately, and then we go create a total and update it. When the viewer count changes, start it up. Now, the one lines are okay. I'm good with those. So save that. And let's do this. Fantastic. What was that? What the heck was that? All of a sudden, one of my USB devices just flaked out on me. Yep, I think I got it. So it was in goal, count, and current viewers. Moved SignalR client destination. Yeah. Fantastic. And I'll copy this. Paste it back up. Cool. All right. I really like those features. So, let's push an update down and get that into the widgets here on screen. So I'll go up, and I have a command here, build, and I will create I'm going to call this 0.8. So I will do build v0 0.8, and this will go through and actually build the application. Okay. Looks like it'll work, hopefully. So the bundler ran, good. And then when it's done, it'll push that container out to... There we go. Terrific. Now, I want to scroll up and show you these errors that it hit up at the top here. Stop it. Oh, you're going to be difficult, aren't you? I got to wait for that because it's doing editing of the user interface on the fly for me. Yeah. Hideous. All right. There. Now my USB device is flaking out again. I don't know which USB device it is. That'd be nice if you would tell me. My video hasn't changed at all here. I don't know whatever. Come back to that later. Can't add file. No, that's okay. Don't care. No, we're okay. I was concerned that it was flaking out on trying to run npm inside of the package. All right, so it pushed it out. I should have it now on my other machine. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to go grab that console window we were using before. So, not too many new followers today. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, so I have a command here to just do a get, grab that data. Go pull in the latest one here. Cool. And I'll just rerun it. There we go. My USB devices are flaking out again. But nothing changed. You can mark stuff and the console won't scroll if they want. Oh, right. You're right, Paul. If I were to mark something in the console window, it won't. It won't move things around here. Very cool centralization of SignalR configuration. Thanks for the contribution. All right. Cool. So it's updated here locally. And I wanted to use, what was it, play? I think that was the one we were looking at. Play. Follower goal. So now the argument to put on the end of this, so I'm just going to navigate to this. No. What was it? Font equals play? I have to wait for that to tick over. It's not font. Is it font name? I forget what it was. Okay, now I feel bad. Now I feel shame. Where'd it go? Get font name. Where are you? Get font name. There it is. And font name. Yeah. And font name equals play. Why isn't it picking that up? Oh, there it went. Haha. And I feel like I'm going to need to do something about the font name in the middle there. What the heck is with this USB thing? You make me sad. Yeah, there we go. Yep. So that looks like it's working properly, and I'm going to need to do a refresh on my follower count. There we go. All right. So I've got that all deployed. Now, let me come back to the question. All the pull requests are merged, and we feel good here. Terrific. I'm going to close this one. Right, because we fixed that with, what was the number on this last pull request? Just to tidy things up. 41. Fixed by at, there he is, in pull request 41. Okay, now you're getting annoying there, USB. I don't know what's... And there's no indication. Just, oh, the last device you plugged in. I haven't plugged in anything. Add docs for follower goal. Done. And we added font. Font was completed in 41. No. Was it? Which one was it? 40. There it is. Terrific. All right. Okay, I'm going to take this and say not needed now that we bundle our JS. Wild Windows. Man against the machine. Yeah, I know. All right. So I think we've cleaned things up a little bit better there. Yeah. All right. So the question that we have out there is from Bruno, and he's asking, what's some good advice for somebody who's wants to be a good candidate for interviews? Things like methodologies. So, speaking based on my experience as both an interviewer and an interviewee, right? The person conducting the interview and the person being interviewed. Contributions to open source projects where people can actually see the code that you've written is becoming a bigger deal, right? Or if you're running your own open source project, whatever it may be, if somebody can come and look at your GitHub and see what your code looks like, that's influential. That helps to show that they can see exactly how you write code before they even start working with you. When I was interviewing for developer jobs back in the early 2000s, there was no GitHub. There was no public source code repository that folks were going to look at your source code. I did publish source code to SourceForge, but companies weren't in the habit of looking there for source code. But contributing to major open source projects, these aren't major what I'm working on here, sorry to say, but major open source projects, contributing there and having your contributions accepted and folks being able to see how you've done those contributions, that's a big influence for folks at Amazon. At Microsoft, we see those as well. Google certainly feels the same way. So I know those big companies definitely will look at that stuff. It's stuff you can add to your resume and show, hey, I'm a contributor to these projects. We talked to Myra Wenzel about a week or two ago, and she showed us how easy it is to contribute to docs. So even contributing to those docs and having your name show up there shows that you have a little bit of expertise in that area, in those specific areas that you contributed to, and that'll help drive a little bit of reputation for you. Let's see. Chris says, once when I sat down, an interview told me how much they liked the demo I wrote on GitHub. You definitely know that it's a great start to an interview. That's a good point there, Chris. Space Shot. So if you write some sample code, right, and write code that you write and publish to GitHub doesn't have to be something that everybody's going to pick up and use. Like we're doing here for the StreamTools project, right? This is code that it's useful for me. It's stuff that I want to share and folks can contribute to and we can all learn from together. But I want folks to be able to download it, look at it, learn a little bit from it, and we can answer folks' questions on how to use ASP.NET Core, how to use ASP.NET Core with Docker, and learn a little bit along the way. So should something happen and I leave my current job and I want to go interview and get hired someone else, and they ask me, have you written any Razor pages? Do you know how to use ASP.NET Core with Docker? I can point them to my GitHub repository, and here's a sample that I wrote that they can learn from. Just like Chris is pointing out there, Space Shot, on the Mixer chat room. So I think contributing to open source is a big thing. And gosh, Bruno, you in particular, if I look at the list of pull requests here, you've got a couple of pull requests out here that show that you know what you're doing, working around some of these things. So certainly you can refer to it, say, yeah, I worked with a Microsoft Program Manager on a ASP.NET Core website together. Chris says, my advice is to go a little beyond a tutorial, but something useful, even if it is just for you. Right, a little bit like I'm doing here. I can learn a lot about your technique, style, and habits. Habits is another good point there. I interviewed for a position at a company called Yellow Book a long time ago. I didn't get the job. Go figure. And they wanted me to write some code and submit it to them on their Bitbucket repository. And it wasn't just, can you write the code, but there were 6 tasks as part of this little code test. They gave me all the time that I wanted over a day to write the code and submit it. Well, I made sure for each one of those tasks, I created a separate branch, folded that branch in, so that when you looked at, not that dialog, where is it? Insights. And you looked at the, is it the commits? No. Where'd they move it? There used to be a little arrow graph that showed you, not that one. And look at that, Bruno's number 2. No. Is it forks, I'm thinking? No. This one. Right? It's a little bit, right? Black is the master, and you can see folks are getting merged back in, right? And gosh, there's dev is way out here, and it gets merged back in, right? You can see, where was the last time dev was merged in? It's a mess. But having this clean, right? Having this not too bad here is it makes it easier for folks to see that you have a good pattern. I also tagged all of my answers to each of the tasks. So as I completed a task, I put a tag that indicated, I was done this task, and then moved on to the next one, and then moved on to the next. So you could see that there was a little bit of maintenance there. All interviews are different. Some will focus on how many patterns you know. Some want to know if you know the efficient way to reverse a string. Ugh. Others want to hear your stories. Yes, I think, and how you overcome challenges and made things better. So looking at the first couple of questions there, and Chris in the Mixer chat room makes a very good point there. When folks do interview you and they ask you, tell me all the software patterns you know. Explain to me the repository pattern. What does the command pattern do? They want you to recite things from the Gang of 4 book, right? And that's ridiculous, okay? If you write good software, I don't care that you know the names of the patterns. I care that you know the techniques. It's not so much algorithms that you know, but you know the techniques. I don't care that you know them. I care that you read the book. By looking at the code that you've written, I should be able to see how you use some of those patterns. What's a factory pattern? Oh, come on, stop that. That type of trivia interview, I think, is not valuable for either the interviewer or the person being interviewed. I think that's something that kind of pushes folks towards memorizing and regurgitating. This isn't a test. You're trying to figure out if you're compatible with me to work with me, and I'll help solve a problem that you need help solving. And anybody that comes to you and tries to do a trivia type of interview like that, they're trying to prove that they're smarter than you is what they're trying to do. Then you get hired and you see the product was written in 2005 and is really a .NET 1.1 project that is compiled on 4.x. Yes. Right, there's these interesting problems that folks want to do. If you get more of a story interview, there you go. Does enough to verify you aren't lying about your skills. Yes. Right? We want to make sure that you're not lying about your skills, and that's why I think that publishing code helps. Meet Popsicle. Hey, good morning. That's something to think about as a hiree as well. If someone only cares about your algorithm knowledge and not your stories or your history, what's made you the technologist that you are, you might not want to work at an environment like that. True. You might end up going into some place, and I worked for a company that was like that at one point. They were very algorithm and design pattern oriented. Do you know these design patterns? How do you work with ADO.NET? What's the function of a data set? I'm like, oh, come on. And I knew all the answers because I was living and breathing these development topics. And that's great. They hired me. And wouldn't you know, it was literally 10-hour days, heads down coding. They didn't even give me any kind of documentation around what the application was, what it did, and what I was supposed to do with it. They just said, here's your machine, go. Where do I get the source code from? Oh, ask the guy next to you. He'll show you where it is. What? All right, well, I got the source code. Now, what's the database I should be using for development? Oh, ask the person next to you for that. What? And they were very hands-off on managing their engineers. They were very hands-off. There was no on-ramping process. And that feels bad. You want people to learn how to build and use what it is they're supposed to be doing for their job quickly and easily. And it also speaks towards the F5 ability of your application, right? I want to be able to download your source code and hit F5 and have it bring in all the NuGet packages or NPM packages or PHP packages, whatever your environment might be, Ruby gems, whatever. And have an experience as a developer right from the get-go. And I want to learn how to use your continuous integration system quickly and easily. Show me where that is wired up, and let me be able to use that. And folks that are very trivia focused like that, they might not be as eager to on-ramp you as easily as others. That being said, though, there are larger companies that use that as a weed-out mechanism, right? They aren't even going to talk to you if you don't know some basic things first. True story. Back in 2001, I was working for a financial startup, and in February of that year, we wanted to hire some contractors to help us build our website. So I wrote a little 5-question quiz, and there were questions on it as simple as, show me the HTML tags to build a simple table with 2 cells, one that contains your name, the other that contains your hometown. And people got that wrong. They didn't know how to build a table. I wanted a table tag. This was not code to write. It was just a thing to write down on a piece of paper. We're building websites in 2000. You need to know how to use table tags. This person didn't know how to even start. Several people, lots of people, didn't know how to build table tags. And my manager, my supervisor, got mad at me because I didn't even talk to some of these folks because they didn't know how to write table tags. I said, Tony, if they don't know how to write a HTML table, and 60% of the markup on our website, because we're presenting financial information in tables, they don't know how to build those, I don't even want to talk to them. And then turning around and looking at it the other way, the follow-up questions, I asked things like, put some CSS on the table cell for your name to make the color red. You could have made it up. You could have given me a definition for a style element. You could have put a style attribute on your table tag. You could have done anything you want. I just wanted the font red. You could have even said font color equals red around the name. And they didn't do that either. So I was quickly cutting people left and right because they didn't know basic HTML or CSS. So it's a good question, Bruno, and thank you so much for it. I agree, Joban. There's things to go, things to learn, and talk to some of the other people that work at the companies that you want to interview at. There's places like Glassdoor where other engineers, other employees will post, here's what's going on at my organization. Here, let's just go there. Right? And you can search for an organization. That's not where I am. You could search for an organization and learn more about it and what people think about it. That's not how you spell Microsoft either. There we go. Right? And then here's what people are saying about the jobs. Oh, here I want to apply for these things. Let's spell Microsoft properly. Right, and here's how much folks are being hired for. I can go into company reviews, and here's what people are saying about Microsoft. Right, Google. Right, what people are saying about them. And you can click in, you can see there's thousands of reviews. Check that out, see what people who are working a similar job as to what you're hired into are going to be doing. Terrific, Bruno. Thanks so much for the question. I really appreciate it, and I think we had a nice little conversation around that. And thanks so much, Chris, over in the Mixer chat room, Space Shot. That helps stir the conversation here a little bit. And you're right, Meat Popsicle. And I think that's why resources like Glassdoor.com, and there's a couple other ones like this, but this is the one that I like to reflect on a little bit. What you see people talk about, right? If you're a software engineer, you're among the kings of the hill at Google. It's an engineer-driven company. Terrific. As somebody who's interviewing for an engineer position, that's probably going to be very helpful commentary from somebody who's already doing a job similar to what you're doing. So, great conversation. Thanks so much for stirring it. Answered on Feb 3, 2018. Cool. All right. Well, we're about 40 minutes over where I wanted to be, but that's okay. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll archive this video off. We need to get more folks signing up and getting online here. I think we're going to have a rush of folks join us when I start hosting that ASP.NET Core workshop, and I'm trying to get that locked down for this week. It might end up drifting into the week after, just because of the availability of some folks. I did add, Oren is going to be on February 15th talking to us about .NET Standard and portable class libraries. My colleague Maria Nagaga is going to join us on February 17th and talk to us about Try.net. Try.net is a way for us to embed .NET in our web pages, be able to write and compile and run .NET code live without having to have a compiler installed, an editor installed. Run it directly in the browser, but get it compiled and running somewhere else and see those results. It's a great way to learn a little bit more about it. Let's see. Chris says, it's hard to not want to get hired. We all have bills to pay, but the interview is an insight into what they value. Pop quiz engineering are people who solve problems and have great stories. I'll make a final point about the interview question. One thing that I like to do at the end of every interview is, first off, if the interviewer doesn't ask me, do you have any questions for me? That's a turnoff for me, because they saw the interview not as a discussion, but as a one-way street. And if they don't want me to ask them questions as the candidate, they're not going to want me to ask questions of them when I'm their employee. So keep that in mind. Second part of that, when I do ask them a question, I'll ask them something like, how did you feel about how I answered your questions? Or do you think my expertise, do you think my history will fit in well with your organization? I'll ask those follow-up questions to get them thinking and give me a little bit of insight as to how they thought the interview went. Is that supposed to be Bung Gamer? But welcome, Gamer. I appreciate you joining the stream here. I'm trying to wrap up actually right now. My apologies. But I will thank you because you helped us test our widgets here at the top of the screen, and the helpme.net is filling up and looking good. And I want to fix that 638 in the middle. That font color just isn't. It's just not working for me today. So I'm just gonna need to set font color for filled in bar elements. Let's see. Let's do this as a good first issue, and I'll mark this as help wanted. And it's also an enhancement. We'll mark it like that too. And I probably should try and grab a screenshot and drop it in there. Let me do that real quick. Not that one. Snip. There we go. I know he has a better URL. Yes, the YouTube streams, here you go. You can go to, if you go to youtube.jeffreyfritz.com, you can use that to connect. Let's see if I can paste that in. Hey, there we go. Cool. That was easy. Yeah. So I did set up a redirect, right? YouTube jeffreyfritz.com, and it jumps right to my channel. Hey, I know that guy. All right. Whew. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. This was a really good one, and I really enjoyed the career discussion. Maybe we need to come around and do that every couple months just to take the temperature and see how things are going. So, yeah, there you go, Chris. Thank you. And there's also shortcuts to get into the different channels. So, like mixer.jeffreyfritz.com and twitch.jeffreyfritz.com will take you directly into the live stream channels. But that's all the time I have for today. I'll have an update. I promise I'll have an update by Tuesday about when we're doing the live stream. All right? Look for the recording out on YouTube a little bit later, and I'll have updates on I'll have updates coming about the workshop. Meat Popsicle, what's the official game prediction for tomorrow? My prediction, $31-10 Eagles. Book it. They're going to get ahead. This team has an amazing defense. They're going to win 31-10. All right. It'll show in the hat. Oh, you'll know on Tuesday. You will know on Tuesday. Oh, baby. And, right, let's not forget. Hang on. Let's do this. Let's do this. And Twitch is going to mute me on this one. Bud Light. Oh no! Wrong browser. This browser. Want to be able to hear this guy.
Eagles of Philadelphia. Well, I'm surprised to see you guys here. I thought it was all over. But even though the king is never wrong, it looks like I was wrong.
Give me that beer.
I never am. The injury gods threw mud at you, but the perseverance gods wiped you off and patted your behind. Now all you need is Lady Luck and Lord Victory to smile upon thee.
Yes,
and
yes.
The championship will be thine. So for you, I'll say it only once.
Please do.
Philly, Philly.
Philly, Philly. Thank you, friends. I'll catch you next time. Take care.